this ice out here and people want to cut in front of you. And thank God I wasn't flying. Well, since I'm on my way to church and I'm running a little late, I'm going to start this live before anybody comes on, so I can get it done before I get to church. But basically, I just wanted to talk a little bit about, on this Sunday morning, you guys, about Iyanla Van Zandt. I watched the last couple of her shows, and I do watch her frequently, but you know, the last two shows are really interesting because of the fact that they deal with generational curses that a lot of families go through, generation to generation. It seems like they just can't get out of get certain situations or curses, you know, off their family name. And this particular episode, which was a part 1 and part 2, it was called Raised by Monsters part 1 and part 2, and it was about this lady named Rita who had gave up her 5 children. And the reason why she gave up her 5 children, well, actually the reason why she gave up her oldest daughter, well, okay, it was 5 of them. The oldest one, her name was Shalimar. Yeah, the oldest one name was Shalimar. And that daughter had went to live with her grandma. And I guess the grandma didn't want to take all 5 of the kids. Good morning, whoever's coming in the chat. I'm just talking about Iyanla Van Zandt, her latest episode called Raised by Monsters, about generational family curses, including incest, rape, molestation, you know, alcohol, drugs, things like that. And if you happen to watch the show, let me know, you know, what you feel about it, or, you know, what you feel about any of the people who was on the show, like the family members and whatnot. But the lady Rita, her mother took her oldest child but didn't take the other 4 children because I think they were by different fathers. So she was like, you know, she felt compelled to take the oldest daughter, which was named Shalimar, because, you know, that was by her. I don't know. I really don't know why. I can't remember why she only took that one, but I think it had to do with something about her father, who her father was. I think the other kids had different fathers. But anywho, the other 4 children, which was a set of twins, a boy and a girl, and 2 other brothers, they had went to live in foster care. And in foster care, these children was abused, tortured, starved, raped. They were forced to commit incest against each other. I mean, they were beat. It was so horrible. I think it's probably the worst child abuse story that I'd ever heard of. Only because you hear about child abuse stories where people get beat, people get raped, people get starved. But to hear all of that, plus the fact that you and your siblings were forced to have sexual relations with each other in order for you to get anything, in order for you to eat, in order for you to, you know, get snacks, in order for you to get permission to do certain things, they were literally forced. And the main one that was forced to do all this was the oldest child, the oldest son, and he'd been carrying a whole bunch of guilt, like all these years. They older now, you know, they're around like, I believe like 30 years old now, and he's just been feeling a lot of guilt from all these years because of what he was forced to do, even though it wasn't his fault. But he feels like, you know, these demons, he's still fighting these demons from what he was forced to do. And he feels a lot of guilt and a lot of shame. And then the other boy, the one who was suffering from epilepsy, how he was beaten over the head all the time with like cast iron skillets, pots and pans, because of the fact that he didn't want to do things to his sister or to his brother. I mean, they made him have oh my god, it's y'all have to watch it. Y'all have to watch it. It's a lot. It's a lot. And it's a lot. And I don't want to say everything that they were forced to do, but if you just read between the lines, I mean, sisters and brothers, forced to do things with each other in order to eat, in order to survive. It was all about survival for them when they were younger. And like the twin boy and girl, they were forced to do things to each other. I mean, and if they didn't, they were beaten, they were starved. I mean, this all happened in foster care, and I don't know what happened to the foster parents or anything. Hey Adidas lover, hi, how you doing? Good morning, happy Sunday. I don't know if there was a movie made about it. This is like literally the first time I've heard about this story ever, so I don't know if there was a I don't know. I'll look it up. I'll try to find out. But as far as I know, I don't think it was a story put out about them before. But the generational curse is more what the show was about, because of the fact that the mother of all these 5 children, she started having her kids at 16, 17, 18, 19. They're stair steps, besides the twins, of course. The twins, were born at the same time, of course. But her oldest child, Shalimar, the girl, she had at 16. And then her second son, her oldest son, she had at 17. Then the twins, she had at 18. And then the youngest one, Michael, the one that suffers from epilepsy, seizures and stuff, from getting beat over the head all the time when he was a little kid with skillets and stuff by the foster parents, he suffers from epilepsy and everything. And the thing about it was, the mother of those 5 children, when she was young, she was molested by somebody in the family, and her mother didn't believe her, so her mother put her out. When her mother put her out, she didn't have nowhere to go. She didn't have no support. So she turned to prostitution. Prostitution turned to selling drugs. Selling drugs turned to using drugs. And that's how she got addicted on crack. She became a crackhead. So eventually she ended up giving her kids away. And the oldest one went to her maternal grandmother. And the other 4 went to foster care. And once Iyanla had worked with all the kids on part 1 of the series, and then part 2 came on this week, and she brought the mother into the situation so the mother could explain herself, explain why she left her children, explain why she was out there on drugs and in the street. She was trying to explain all that stuff. And then we come to find out that she was also molested by family members, and so was her mother. So the children's grandmother was also molested and taken advantage of by family members. Hello, Onion Star, good morning. I'm doing good. I'm just talking about Iyanla, her latest episodes, part 1 and part 2, called Raised by Monsters, about these children who were raised by foster parents who abused them and forced them to have sex with each other and starve them and all that. I mean, they would starve them and make them eat like 1 piece of bread a day and a bottle of water if they wouldn't have sex with each other. It was so sad. The story is so sad. And the twins, Orion Star, I'm sorry. Did I say Onion? Is it Orion? Oh, I'm sorry. Phone kind of far away. I didn't see. But yeah, and it was a set of twins. Some of the siblings were twins, and they were forced to do things with each other. And it's like, Iyanla basically told them, y'all are suffering from a generational curse. The grandma was molested and raped by somebody in the family. Her parents didn't believe her. Her daughter, Rita, the parent of the kids, she was molested you know, stuff by and raped by somebody in the family. Her mother didn't believe her, and then that led to her getting put out. She didn't want to stay in the home. It's not a movie. It's Iyanla Van Zant Fix My Life on the OWN channel, on the Oprah channel. She's kind of like a counselor, kind of like a therapist, kind of like a, you know, something like that. But yeah, she was trying to get them to understand their generational curse and how to fix it. And a lot of people, a lot of families are going through this right now, whether it's drugs, alcoholism, rape, incest, you know, things like that. And they don't know how to break the generational curse. And I hope a show like this, you know, would kind of help them, or at least allow them to want to get help, because a lot of people, they don't want to get help, they don't want to speak out, they don't want to say what's been going on in their families, and a lot of things are swept up under the rug, and it's really sad. I know personally situations in my family, in my friends, in my you know, even from co-workers, just from talking and getting close to each other, and you realize that a lot of families have done the same thing, had things done to certain individuals in the family, and they just sweep it under the rug from like embarrassment, or they don't want to believe it, or the mother who has a husband or boyfriend who's messing with her children. She's so in love with the man and thinks she can't survive without him, and she goes on, basically sticks with the man and punishes the children, or put them out, or beat them, or basically the incest or the rape or whatever keeps going on and on till that child leaves. And that's what Rita did, the mother of the 5 kids. She couldn't handle it anymore. Her mother wasn't stopping it, so she left. And she was just a young child when she had her first child, and she ended up again turning into prostitution, turning into drugs, and couldn't take care of her children. And Iyanla was trying to get the kids to understand that, and mind you, if y'all saw the show, y'all know these kids, they have suffered so much. I can't imagine. I mean, I'm just picturing it in my head when I was watching the show, like being forced to have sex with my little brothers. I mean, I can't imagine, you know, and for them foster parents to get off on that. I'm sure they was probably, I don't know, I need to do a little research and find out if they ever was charged for anything, because the only thing that I could think of that would possibly, besides them being sick in the head and nasty and some just nasty freaks, some devils, you know, was that maybe it was like a child pornography ring or something, forcing them to do things and starving them if they didn't, beating them with skillets, cast iron skillets. That boy has been suffering from epilepsy, Michael, since he was a little kid, because of constantly getting beat by skillets and stuff, and when he didn't want to do stuff to his brothers and sisters. That's what I'm thinking, like, that's what crosses my mind. Like, maybe they was recording this stuff, maybe they were selling the tapes or something like that. That's really what I was thinking that this was, because they personally, the foster parents weren't having sex with the kids. The foster parents weren't raping the kids. It was the kids forced to do things to their siblings. So that just brings me to, that just makes me believe that it was probably like a child pornography ring or something like that. That's probably what was going on. They might have been recording it or trying to sell the tapes or putting it on the internet to, you know, those sites. So I don't know, but y'all, if y'all got a chance, check it out. Not only, like I said, does it deal with rape and molestation, you know, all within families, but it also deals with, you know, drugs and drug abuse, and just trying to get over a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, you know, a lot of traumatization that, like, the twin girl, boy, Kadera. Oh, I feel so sorry for her. Kadera, um, she said to her mother when they finally got a chance to see their mother, who they haven't seen since they were children, because their mother been strung out on crack, been a crackhead for many years. So even after they grew up, they still didn't know where their mom was. When their grandma died, she didn't come to the funeral. Couldn't nobody find their mother. She was still out there on drugs. And so this was like the first time they got to see their mother in years. And for her to sit there and tell her mom, I was a sex slave from the age of 5 to 13. And again, it had nothing to do with having sex with the foster parents. It was them forcing them to have sex with each other, with their brothers and sisters. But that was a really good segment, a really good series by Iyanla. It really shows, how to face these generational curses, how to forgive. You can't forget, but how to at least try to forgive, and how to mend, and how to heal. That's what I like about Iyanla a lot. Sometimes, like I said in the past, I'll be like, dang, Iyanla, you going really far here now. Okay, Iyanla, I don't agree with that. But, for the most part, I think she does help a lot of families heal, and have helped a lot of families heal in the past. And I really hope that from the time that she spent with this family, that they really begin to heal. I know after the show was over, they did say that the siblings were starting to spend a lot more time with each other. Yeah, it's very, very sad. It's very sad, Orion Star. Very sad. And it's just, if anybody's out there ever had to deal with that as a child, whether it was being touched by a family member or touched by a neighbor, or have to deal with parents on drugs and leaving them and stuff, this would probably be a good show to watch, because it really teaches you and shows you, tips and things like that on how to heal, and the process of how to mend your family. So that's all I wanted to talk about this morning. Hold on one second, let me order some breakfast. I just want a sausage, what do you call that thing? McMuffin. Sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin, and a caramel iced coffee, please. A small one.
That's all you want to be $5.67
All right, thank you. And order me some breakfast on the way to church. But yeah, so that would be a good series to watch for somebody who's been dealing with stuff like that. I missed a comment. Adidas lover, have you seen a new Michael Jackson? No, I haven't seen they made another one? You said Michael Jackson film? Hey, Ida. How much?
57.
Hey, hi. Oh, can I get some grape jelly, please? All right, here you go. Thank you. And I didn't know they made a new Michael Jackson movie. I mean, I seen the After Neverland series with Oprah. Is that what you're talking about? Because I didn't know they made a movie. Thank you, sir. But yeah, I didn't know they made a movie. Yeah. I saw that. And I actually, did I do a review on that? I think I did a little bit of review on that, but I kind of blended it in with the R. Kelly situation, sorta. So I don't think I based. No, I didn't do a review solely on that situation. We were kind of talking about Jussie Smollett a few days ago, and R. Kelly, and then I kind of added in MJ and After Neverland, and stuff like that. But it's a lot of people who go through that molestation and incest and stuff when they're younger. Their parents don't believe them, like in this TV show, generation after generation. They don't believe them, or they throw it under the rug. And I mean, these generational curses have to stop somewhere. And sometimes, it might take the youngest child in the generation, from like, grandma, great grandma, the youngest person, to say this is not going to stop until I make it stop. And we have to pay more attention to our children, like with the R. Kelly, like with the Michael Jackson. I mean, and others, and not just celebrities, but everyday normal people. We have to take more care of our children. We have to know where our children at. We have to know, totally trust people. Only lead them with people we trust, and don't let your children go everywhere. Happy Sunday, Positive Queen. Good morning. But we can't let our children go. Like when my children were younger, I'm on my way to church, and I was just talking about Iyanla Van Zant's latest show called Raised by Monsters, about some kids in foster care that was forced to have sex with each other. But and their parents was on drugs and all that kind of stuff. But when my sons was younger, it was like 3 places they could go. 3 places they could go. And I talk to my children all the time. I mean, you can ask my kids. The oldest one is 21. The youngest one just turned 18. And I swear I would ask them almost on a weekly basis. Like almost on a weekly basis. Because I know from personal experience what it's like to have someone not believe you, or a parent that, just sweeps it under the rug. I mean, I know from families and friends, and it happens in almost every family, this stuff. And they used to get so sick and tired of me. Mom, no, ain't nobody touched me. Like, oh my God. They had this one coach, a basketball coach, and he was a football coach, and he was a teacher, and he's a great guy. But he used to have barbecues and video game tournaments and stuff at his house, and he would take like the whole team and all this kind of stuff and feed them, and they grill and all this. You better tell me if your coach even look like he trying to touch your little stuff. Mom, the coach, Mom, come on now. I can beat somebody up if somebody touch me. They would always find an excuse to like, Mom, really, for real, Mom, ain't nobody messing with us. And I did that all through their life. I swear to God. I swear to God. Even my son, who's 21 now, I probably asked him a couple of months ago, has anything ever happened? I mean, I know I ask you all the time. I know we talked about it, but you older now, and sometimes kids don't want to, for some reason, even though they have a parent that they know will listen and will react and will act and will handle a situation like that, they still, for some reason, like a lot of kids, they are scared to talk about it, or they feel like it's their fault, or they feel if they shouldn't have been at a certain situation, at a certain place, at a certain time, it wouldn't have happened. So I asked him, got grape jelly? And I asked him, and he's like, thank you, have a good day. And I asked him, and he's like, Mom, you've been asking me all this all my life, Mom. Nobody, no coach, no neighbor, no uncle, no cousin, no brother, no father, no mailman, no preacher. I mean, he was dragging it out. But I dragged it out. He was dragging it out because I dragged it out. Because I raised my kids to know. Pastors rape. Teachers rape. Coaches rape. Brothers, fathers, the neighbors, the mailman. I mean, you have to talk to your children about that kind of stuff. Things to say, hey, how you doing? Good morning. You have to talk to your children about that kind of stuff, because children are just so naive and fragile and trustworthy of people. And don't let them be somebody who gives them stuff all the time or buys them stuff all the time. You got to be careful with that stuff. Like, why your coach buy you this? Why your coach wants you to come over here? If you feel a certain type of way about anybody, you better call me. I'll be there in a hot minute. And a lot of parents don't talk to their kids like that. But anyway, that show was really emotional. And for those of y'all who just came in, it's Iyanla Van Zant, her latest episodes. It was a 2-part series, and it was called Raised by Monsters. And again, it was about a lady who was addicted to drugs. She was a crackhead. She had 5 kids. One of her kids went to live with her grandma and was molested and raped by a family member. The other four kids went to foster care, and they were forced to mess with each other, to mess with their brothers and sisters, um, in order to eat, in order to get something to drink. I mean, they were tortured. They were tortured for years. So yeah, if y'all didn't watch that, that's a good show. And I just wanted to talk about that this Sunday morning because a lot of people try to shy away from this topic with child molestation and child incest, and they try to shy away from that situation because it's a touchy subject, especially for people who've been through it personally. But yeah, I'm on my way to church, y'all. I hope everybody has a great Sunday. I can't read all the chat, but I will read it later. But so if I'm missing somebody, yes, Positive Queen, I watched part 2 last night. And you guys, if anybody's going to church, have a blessed service. For those of you who have other plans today, be blessed anyway. And I'll probably come back at you guys later tonight. Hopefully probably around like 8 p.m.ish, about 8 p.m.ish, and we'll just have a little Sunday late night chit chat. I don't have any topic for tonight. Maybe I will by then, but in the meantime and in between time, Prime Time Squad, see you later, Positive. Stay safe, be blessed, and I'm out.